Hey guys, Andrea here at GDC. I'm with Dax from Rocksteady, and oh my gosh, my mind was just blown. Batman Arkham Knight. You guys have been working on this for a long time now. It's like we were talking about how it's a release, you finally get to talk about it. When did you start development on this project?
We've been thinking about this for a long time. We had to finish off Arkham City before the whole team could really get our teeth into this, but we were thinking about where we wanted to go next before we finished Arkham City. So to finally come here to GDC and show it off, it's been years in the making, but it's a great relief to finally be able to talk about it.
You guys took a pretty big step from Arkham Asylum into Arkham City, and now it looks like the leap is even bigger into Arkham Knight. Let's start with talking about the world that Batman is in, this Gotham City, and just exactly what you guys really wanted to emphasize with the world this time around.
We really wanted to kind of give back to gamers and give them what I think they've wanted for a long time, and that is the entirety of Gotham City built out with that kind of immense intimate detail that all of our games have. So Batman Arkham Knight for the first time offers gamers the opportunity to cover the entirety of this legendary city. It's been a ridiculous mountain to climb, both creatively and technically, but I think when gamers finally get the opportunity to just explore every aspect of this iconic city with its legendary locations, they are just going to lose their minds.
Are there any particular locations that are your personal favorites?
It's such a personal thing, you know. The clock tower that Oracle is based in, that we saw in the demo, is something that I think just works really well. You know, it's such an iconic place, but it's also got this Batman lore attached with it, and the fact that it sort of transforms from an apartment into this kind of mini Batcave for Oracle, it's just super cool. So I personally love that.
I'm glad you brought her up because she is like at the forefront in this demo, and you said that she's going to be an integral part of the storyline this time around. What do you mean by that?
Well, Batman Arkham Knight isn't just the biggest game we've ever made, it's also like the most emotional game we've ever written. So the relationships that Batman has with other characters like Commissioner Gordon, like his daughter Oracle, Barbara Gordon, we really explore the kind of emotional dynamics between these characters, because Batman's war on crime really results in him drawing the people that he loves into the crossfire, and there are costs associated with that. So we really wanted to deliver, of course, on the incredible action, the grapple, the gliding, all of that insane navigation, but also really dig deeply into the narrative and the emotional backstory of these relationships that he's always had and have always developed, and really bring them to a close in this, the epic conclusion to the trilogy of games we've been working on.
Well, there was a pretty big conclusion at the end of Arkham City, leaving a kind of big hole in Batman's life going into Arkham Knight, but Scarecrow has filled that hole. What is he doing in Gotham City, and how is Batman going to stop him?
Yeah, the power vacuum left by Joker's death at the end of Arkham City is something that we really wanted to set up, because Arkham Knight is an examination of what does a post-Joker world look like. You know, Joker's such a chaotic character, and he really drove a lot of carnage within Gotham City and within the world of Arkham City. Scarecrow is a very different character, very psychological in nature, and his whole approach is about unifying the Rogues Gallery to take down the Dark Knight once and for all. So filling that power vacuum presents a completely different threat than we've ever had before, and that's really where we wanted to drive the story in Arkham Knight.
Now, it seemed to me like the villains were doing a little bit more work together this time around, whereas in Arkham City they seem to be off doing their own thing. Are we going to see a lot of collaboration between them as they team up against Batman?
Well, that's the interesting thing about the Rogues Gallery, that in Arkham City they were fighting each other just as much as they were fighting Batman, but with Scarecrow kind of heading up this power hierarchy, and characters like Riddler and Two-Face and Penguin and Harley kind of working together and working for him, it's this unified threat that Batman's never faced before. So yeah, there is collaboration between the two of them. There is this sense of coordination amongst all of those, the threat that they present. But as Batman faces them, the interesting thing about the game structure is there kind of isn't a core narrative path. There's just the chaos and the threat within the city, and all of these villains are doing their own thing. So as you move through the game, you're really just picking and choosing what stories you want to get involved with, and that for us is really what next-gen storytelling is about.
Speaking of moving through the city, the big power announcement of Arkham Knight is the Batmobile, of course. I remember when the trailer dropped, everyone was blowing their minds that they finally get to drive the Batmobile. Why was bringing the Batmobile important for you guys for Arkham Knight?
The Batmobile was the missing piece for us. We have been developing Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, always thinking about what is the complete Batman experience? What's the ultimate experience that we can create for gamers? Arkham Asylum was about being the world's greatest detective, this kind of crime scene investigation, forensic, cat and mouse challenge between Batman and Joker. Moving into Arkham City was all about being the Caped Crusader, blowing the doors off, blowing the roof off, and using your grappling glide abilities to move through the open world of Arkham City. The final piece of that puzzle is the Batmobile. You think of Batman, you think Batmobile, and when we had to start thinking about what we wanted to do next, it was the one thing that we really wanted to deliver on. And so all of the technical decisions we had to make from that point just sort of were made for us. We knew we had to commit exclusively to next gen in order to build out the entirety of Gotham City and to bring the Batmobile to life in the way that everyone imagines it. You know, it doesn't drive at 20 miles an hour. It's insanely fast. It's super speed. It's about epic destruction. All of these things can only be done with the horsepower of next gen.
And speaking of, like, you aren't kidding when you said it's super powered. I couldn't believe that you guys were driving through almost everything that came across your path. What are some of the other features of the Batmobile that players are going to get to experience?
Well, number one, you're right. It's a wrecking ball. Nothing can stop it. That is what I think people expect from the Batmobile. But just like Batman, it's loaded up with gadgetry. We saw the immobilizer rockets that are non-lethal vehicular takedown. It really augments Batman's abilities in every respect, whether it's navigation, offense, defense. The whole design of the Batmobile has really been about man and machine. What's the synergy between Batman and the Batmobile? How do they work together, and how do they reinforce the abilities and features of each other? So, for example, driving at top speed and then ejecting out of the Batmobile, you can only get that insane altitude by transferring the momentum that the Batmobile has into Batman himself, and then you're above the entire Gotham skyline. That's an experience that we've never been able to deliver before, but that's what you get with the Batmobile, the synergy between man and machine. It's hot.
No, I was super excited. We were all clapping here in the demo room. The first thing that I thought of was, I love the art design that Rocksteady put into Batman. Are you guys going to be doing separate skins for the Batmobile in the same way that you guys do skins for Batman himself?
Well, the design of Batman's new suit, which you've just seen, and the design of the Batmobile, we wanted to kind of create the idea that Batman is in the Batcave designing these two things at the same time. So there's design features and aesthetics that are shared between his new suit and the armor that's on the Batmobile. And so that in itself kind of reinforces that connection between man and machine. As for new skins and other kind of aesthetic variations, you're just going to have to wait and see what we do on that.
Okay. Fair enough. Is it going to be upgradable? That was a big thing in the previous games, being able to get these experience and unlock new features for Batman. Are we going to see upgrade options for the Batmobile?
Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
It kind of does. That's not a yes, though, I don't think. Maybe it's a yes. We'll just pretend like we know the actual answer to that. Well, lastly, I want to ask about other playable characters. It's been announced that you're going to be able to play as Harley Quinn as part of the pre-order and DLC options. Is that going to be like the Catwoman feature in Arkham City, or is it going to be challenge map-based?
We have announced that with pre-order you can play as Harley Quinn. There's a load more details to come out about that in the lead up to launch, so definitely you can play as Batman. Definitely if you pre-order you can play as Harley Quinn. Again, let's just see what happens between now and launch. They've got a lot more to talk about.
All right, well, thank you so much for talking with me today. We are super, super excited to check out more about Arkham Knight, and we'll bring you guys lots more coverage from GDC right here on The Escapists.